So I think we called it spider lasso. What do we call it? Okay, we call it spider lasso. Really, it's going to be more broad. It'll be double sleeve as a whole. We'll definitely cover spider lasso as well. But really, spider lasso is a subset of the double sleeve position. Double sleeve is just any time you have two sleeves. And the reason I call it double sleeve instead of spider is that if you have the mindset that you're just playing spider guard, you kind of want to stay in the position. But you need to know how to mix it up with like lassos, spider hooks, like X hooks and all, like Evo hooks and all sorts of stuff. Okay? So we're going to start off. Full start. I'm just going to start off here because I think regardless of skill level, this is a very easy start point for anyone to understand. Okay, so I'm just gonna at some point I feel like, man, this guy's gonna go to my guard. So I'm just gonna grab over the sleeves. I like to take some slack out with my thumbs if I can. The best because it makes it harder in the loop. So I grab it here, take some slack out with the thumbs. Just use the fingers, grab as much material with this as you can. I just try to pinch it out. That makes it a little bit harder for him to move. So now he's going to stand up. And we're just going to unlock our legs. So the first thing we're going to learn, really basic concept, is just how to kind of generally hold a double sleeve. There's a lot of different ways the guy can position himself. You can have one leg in the middle. You can either be the right leg or the left leg. Right? You can go back. You can have this like bend. You can be straight. There's a million different things. Okay? So at the beginning, I like to start more just broadly. Basic idea here is, as long as you can't push my legs down, you can't pass my guard. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our elbows higher. Keep your legs kind of extended, and he's going to try to walk side to side to pass. He can't really pass it. And as long as he can't grab my leg, if I keep my elbows, see when I'm here, it's a little bit easier for me to come back. If I have the elbows kind of high, you should grab the legs. It's kind of hard to reach, and the body goes different. It gets close to the legs, so I kind of move my leg out a little bit, move, okay? So I just want you guys to kind of get a loose feeling for it. The guy opens the guard and have the sleeve grips, but let them move side to side. I always call it, it's like the closed guard of open guards. They can't use their hands to do anything, right? And from that, we're slowly going to start building kind of offense and some concepts, okay? All right, let's focus on the elbows high. All right, let's go. There. I like to mix the concept stuff in with technique over time. Otherwise, it's just like a super long rant. One big idea here. So we have the sleeves. He stands up here, all the way up. You have to break the idea when you do double sleeve that you're not like controlling him in the way that like a lot of people what they want is like pull the guy tight, and it's like they're trying to play tug of war. So now if he pulls back, it's like you cannot do that. You're going to burn out, right? For anything really to work well at a high level in jiu-jitsu, it needs to be stress test versus a much stronger opponent, right? Which honestly, a lot of people supplement, right? So you need to work on a much stronger opponent. And also it needs to be able to work for a long period of time. If I'm controlling in a way that's like a tug of war and you pull really hard, right? It's like this. In a minute, I'm going to be burnt out in the match. I can't keep doing it, okay? So all I'm really trying to do here is by raising the elbows, it just makes the angle of the pull away from my leg. If he can't get a good grip on, even if he gets here, he can't push my leg down, my foot down. He needs to really get like there he can push my leg down and step over. Like this, right? But if he's here and you get this, you can't really push my leg down. Okay? So by having the arms up high like this, I keep his hand further away. But I'm not really like as hard as I can. I'm just like, I kind of hang out here. If he postures really hard, I just go with it. See? It's like just like a nice little wind motion. He keeps going up. No problem. I got my hands. Just go hard, come back down. See? But even if he gets close to my hands, I get close to my hands. Say kind of move and adjust like that. Right? So you have to learn to kind of move and go into position. Another point. I saw a lot of people really quick wanting to go feet on hips. Feet on hips is a really useful idea, but a lot of times in the beginning, when the guy opens the guard, he's so close, If I try to put my foot on the hip, I have to bring my leg really jammed up, and I give him access to my pant leg here to grab. So by being here, now when he presses up the pant, he can't. See? Now when I want to make space here, I use my knees and my shins to kind of wiggle back like this. Once I get far enough away, I can go on my head. You can see elbow knee tight. I can go tail knee hook, and we're going to start talking about all that in a minute. Okay? But in the beginning, when he stands up, here, elbows high, don't use too much force, don't try to fight him. I drop. He postures a little, come up a little, no problem. When I want to make space, I use my knees and my shins to kind of wiggle back, like that. If you're far away, then you can put the foot on the head if you want. Push them away a little more, maybe. Okay? All right, so I want you guys to focus on not being too tug-of-war. Elbows high helps a lot. Making space with the legs. And then maybe test a little bit, then posturing up. Like this. See? Start using my knees to work back. Okay? So it's one of those basic movements, and then we're going to start adding in some kneeling, eva spider, all this. All right? Let's go with it. So for some of the newer people, and really just everyone in general, this is a good reminder. You have to understand that these positions, like they don't work statically. Like I can't go, oh, I like to do daily Heba guard, so I'm going to do daily Heba guard. Like it doesn't make sense now, right? Maybe here I can put on the hip makes sense, right? Or maybe a deep lasso could make sense. Possibly a spider hook could make sense. So you have to kind of build off of what's available. That's really important. Because when I'm teaching you guys a technique, you're of course trying to be a good student, so you're doing the technique I'm showing. But you have to understand in sparring, it's more like you're just adapting to what's available. You cannot have in your head what you want to do. So when I'm teaching a seminar, I'm trying to show you guys common patterns that happen and how to deal with them. When we actually start implementing and rolling, you have to be very open to what's available. That's such a big thing a lot of people struggle with. Okay? So we're here, again, we're not trying to use too much energy. Because the positions can all change when we put our feet and stuff, sometimes understanding big picture thinking is the most important thing. So like I said, elbows high helps a lot. But the core goal is to not let him push one of my legs down. So a lot of times elbows high help. Sometimes if I'm a bit far away, I can even do something like elbow low and have to step up if it feels okay. Right? The main two things you have to do is it can't require too much energy. If it's super exhausting, non-sustainable. Okay? Number two, don't let them push your legs down. If you have another way to stop them from pushing the leg down and it always works, I'm okay with it. But it tends to be that the elbows high is a very good tool. But I don't want you to be so stuck on it that maybe you're somewhere else and you're like, I can never bring my arm, maybe here it's okay. Right? But I do know in the beginning, a lot of times having the elbows high helps a lot. Okay? That's the best way I can explain it. So we're here. So now I want to talk a little bit about making space a little bit more. So for a lot of people, this is kind of weird because you just opened up and you're kind of jammed up flat like this, and he's kind of over it. So the idea of distance is incredibly important. In jiu-jitsu in general, regardless of the guard or anything, right? For him to ever pass my guard, he has to get on top of me. So if he's like a meter away from me, he cannot be past my guard, right? So distance is always going to build like safety and defense. In addition, I don't get fatigued. If he's there, he can't be heavy because he's not on me. If he's above me and he's leaning on me here, I will always have to use some kind of energy to get him off. That will fatigue you over time. So when you can build distance, not only is it safer, but it's going to save energy. In addition, distance builds leverage, right? So I always use the example, if I grab his collar right and I'm right here and I say posture up, he can't posture, right? It's really hard. So, if I'm here, it's easier to come up, right? If I'm back here, now he doesn't want. See, he wants to get closer to me, right? So I want to break the posture, and being far away always makes that easier, right? So, same thing with the sleeves. When he's really close, the posturing's a lot easier, right? When I back up, it becomes harder. And even when he does it quickly, it's less hard on my body, right? When I'm under him and he postures up, you guys get that odd feeling where like, what the heck do I do here? You might all felt that, right? So early on, making space helps. But even if he goes up now, bro, see what I do is I use my legs to kind of wiggle back. See, I know it's a stupid little movement, but this is, we do kind of a weird sport. So it is what it is. Okay? So I want to wiggle back. You see here, I'm keeping this arm on this leg. He wants to grab this one. See, keeping it away. Now maybe I go boom. See, now it's slowly pulling away. Okay, so I want you guys to understand this movement. The way it works is I use my shin kind of either on his knee, his thigh, his rib. It can't leave the foot on the hip because when he's close, you see, I can't, that's not reliable. So we have to use like this, you can see I alternate on the side of my hip. Like that, right? So you're gonna feel kind of jammed up on him, the guard is open, you feel kind of awkward, balled in here, right? So we can see up on a swivel, boom, and I kind of come out on my side. It's like a shrimp. Then boom, I'm back here. Now that starts opening up the foot on the hip, and this elbow needs maybe a little tighter. You become a daily Eva hug. You start getting all sorts of things from there. See that? When he deadlifts up, this, same idea. I just use this, and I scoot back. And then it starts making it easier to bring him back down. You start setting stuff up, whatever. Okay? So I want you guys to work on that alternating on your side and wiggle back. Try it just a little bit if they deadlift. So they're going to stay fully up. Try to sit up and wiggle back. I know it's a really funky movement, but honestly, like getting the base controls on this right is the foundation of all the attacks. If I show you all the attacks, that's fun. As soon as you start, just someone who's a wild white belt, the position will fall apart because you don't know how to move. Okay? All right, let's give it a try. 1 second. So the goal here is to make space, right? And what you just do this a little bit, that's enough, right? I could probably go put on hip here or something like that. I don't want to unnecessarily, like you don't want to do a lot of like this kind of stuff, right? That's just unnecessary movement, right? You just do a little bit to get back. So if I was like really in a match and he's here kind of low and tight, that's enough, right? So the purpose is just to make space, that's it, right? And so the point is not about elbows high or not, like at this angle, like actually this kind of my elbow low pressing up feels kind of nice, right? If I was over here, maybe high feels good, right? So it's kind of hard for me to tell you always this, always that. Just understand, don't let him grab the leg. Often elbows high will help with that. Sometimes, let's say I'm placing my elbow on the floor there, that can be nice too. And so you guys have to develop a bit of intuition, right? I'm talking around the position. Okay, so first thing we're gonna look at is the De La Riva hook. Reason why is realistically right here, if he stays wide open like this, I can always try to go back to closed guard. You can pretty easily just shoot for triangles and a lot of things like that. So once you get a little space here, a lot of those are going to put their leg in the middle, kind of like this, exactly. And they do that because they don't want you to close guard, right? You just came from closed guard. They usually have to put one leg in the center to block closed guard. So from there, there's a few different ways we can do it. We can do it with the leg past the body, with your 11 knee. And now I'm just going to pivot on my side, put my hook in, and then we can start trying to take him backwards. But we're going to look at what makes a good De La Riva hook, okay? So there's a few things for the De La Riva hook to work. Be more separate. Here, keep your weight a little more on this front. Okay. So, a little more weight on this. Okay. So, first thing is there has to be at least some bend in the leg. If his leg is straight as a board, your hook is going to be really weak. And a lot of people will try to do a De La Riva hook here and they can't, and they're like, I'm not flexible enough. It's not the flexibility, it's the wrong time. So generally though, there's a balance between him defending the closed guard and the leg being bent. So if his leg is straight, then the foot on the hip is going to be available or closed guard, right? So the elbow is going to have elbow knee, right? So a little bend. The other one is I want to have a bit of a side angle. If I'm dead flat, it's harder to get my foot in. It requires more mobility. When you're on your side, your legs naturally track this way. So it's much easier for my leg here to hook in when I'm on a side angle. You see that? So this initiative, and the third one is distance. So you see, if I'm close, my leg actually has to go back before it can go forward, so it's actually harder. So the further away I am, the easier that hook is to come in. Okay, and ideally we want to get the foot up near the near side hip, right? So all three of those things will help. So the mat starts here, he just opens, closed guard. I make a little space, he gets that elbow to his knee. See, I pivot out. Now I start getting that hook in. From here, I'm gonna pull the elbow over the head again. I start moving him backwards. I like to use the foot in the ribs, tuck the arm, and I knock him back. Okay? Most important thing here is understanding how a strong De La Riva hook works and why and how we set it up, right? You can't just be there and go, I want to do De La Riva because I like De La Riva. That's not how it works. I'm just like, I don't want to let him trap my legs. I don't want to waste energy. That's my mindset. Don't waste energy. Easiest way to stop him passing is don't let him push the legs down. I start to make a little space because that's usually good. Option, they'll put their elbow and knee together. Then there's a De La Riva hook. He may not do it, and then we would do something else. But right now, they're going to kind of put the elbow and knee together. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's work on getting that strong De La Riva hook, and then you can try to take them backwards there. Important point, when you set the hook, you guys are going to feel this, especially if you are drilling with multiple partners. Everyone you're going with is going to have slightly different stances. So like, he tends to put his weight more. He tends to put his weight more on this foot. I can't go backwards there, right? So if he's there with the weight on that foot, then I go more overhead, right? So you have to feel it out. So in this case, for the partner, I want the top player to have at least, like even here, like you can put your weight on this foot, or you started driving forward. That's the difference. So that's the hard part as the coach. I have to cover all these possible variations. So right now they're gonna have, like this is good, this weight slightly more on this leg, right? We get the hook, we tuck the arm, and then we go backwards. They're exact same. Exact same. Big point here is this right arm on the sleeve. You need to do more. This arm does a lot of work. See how I lift the arm over my head? That pull, when I get on my side, it's like I'm pulling him that way, right? And then when I have this sleeve, it becomes really easy to take it over. That make sense? All right, let's go. Start your snake. So now we got the De La Riva hook, right? What's gonna happen is, like, I wanted to go that way, but see again, he's got his weight more out that side, right? No, you stay there you are. Right, so whenever that happens, see, I have a good hook. It feels like a pretty good hook, but then I cannot take him this way, okay? But when that happens, usually what I do is I rock from being on my side to flat, and then I'm gonna pull the arms over my head. So I just go here. It's very easy to load it up. Okay, and again, this is the big thing. It's not the sweeps that you need to learn. It's where the sweeps are available that you need to learn. Right, and that's the tricky part. Right, so I'm here, just kind of chilling. Okay, there's a bit, boom. And back. Right, so I'm here. I want to go that way. I can't. I pull. Right, I pull up like this, and I load him on the legs. See, I can even support his weight with the sleeves because he wants to post on the floor. Right, so he wants to post his hands. So these are actually almost like handlebars because he's trying to post. So if I press against it, it's like I have a handlebar. So I'm actually holding him up with my legs and my arms like this. It's actually surprisingly easy to do. Again, in the beginning, his body was angled that way a little more. I probably won't show this so much, but sometimes when you go here and see right where he posts, you can kind of flip that out. Slightly different overhead sweep. It's not like I'm loading him like a normal one. It's like I pull it up and right before post, I just cut it out. And we do like a really fast flip, right? But the general idea is when you can't take the De La Riva hook side, almost always you're going to be able to create these overhead opportunities. It's like if his arms are really close to him. Yeah. That doesn't really matter. I can still lift no problem, right? So in fact, maybe it would be harder if he was just doing this. That could actually somehow be harder. It's probably not good for him, but I think that might actually be harder. I think him having it being tight, I think actually that makes it a little easier. Because I can just pull and I have a lot of movement there. So I don't think the arms matter. It's more about where his legs and weight is. Okay, so we're here. So now let's just talk about if our opponent leaves a little bit of space on the head. Like I said, we talked about when the elbow knee is tight, that's usually De La Riva hook time. A lot of people are going to be somewhere in between. So like right here, maybe he's slightly bent, but I can still get that foot on the hip. So there's a lot of ways to punish this. So one, the simple one, is I just put the foot on the hip, I push his hip out, and now I can just basically do the same sweep. We just start with the foot on the hip, okay? So we're here. Generally, they're going to be leading with one leg, even if it's like this is pretty neutral stance. You know, it's like neither leg is that forward. This is a little bit more though, right? So if I'm here, I can turn to that side, put my foot on the hip, say I kick the hip out, because you need that ability, right? Now I can just swing this, and we go right to the hook, and boom, you hit with a lot of force, right? So again, starting closed guard, you know, it's like, oh no, he's going to open my guard. I get the sleeps. He stands up and opens, right? Boom. Okay, he starts to grab my legs and pass. He's really athletic. He can't get a grip. I just start seeing, oh, see, there's enough space. Right? He's too close. I make a little space. Okay, that's good. Push the hip out. Now I see, I can turn. Boom, right there. See how it works, right? What I'm trying to do is like teach you guys, like, you know, it's like if you were boxing, it's like here's a jab, here's a cross, here's a hook. And then you're going to have to go with your partner and you start understand, okay, if I don't lose energy, you can't grab my legs, you can't pass, I can do this indefinitely. That's why the energy thing matters. If you're using too much force, you can't do it forever. But if you're not losing energy and he can't pass, you can sit there for 10 minutes. You can do another round, no problem, right? So as long as those two things are in place, then you're like kind of opportunistic. You're like, oh, maybe there, no, it's not there. Maybe overhead, no, it's not there. Oh, for some there it is, right? That's how you get calm and you can attack. If you don't have control, all of your attacks are going to be frantic. Because you're like, oh, I got to do something, I got to do something. You know? So, here, same up. Right, so now we make a little space. Now I'm just going to go with this foot on the hip first. So see, if this leg's forward, I go right side on the hip first, I push it back a bit. Now I swing. See, and I can either go deep, I like the short one. Boom, same sweep. Coming up, I just elevate his sleeve. So when he tries to wrestle back up, see, I just push the sleeves up. Okay? All right, so just turn on your right side, push the hip out, swing for the move. Okay? That's right. Okay? We talked a lot before about the idea of like being energy efficient. And I just want to talk a little about that because it's hard. When you don't know the right technique, it's hard to be energy efficient. But sometimes in your development, the way I try to think about it is anytime you have to be like, you know, to go really hard like that, that's probably a sign something's off, right? So, of course, when you're in a tournament and you're fighting someone and you're in trouble and you don't know what to do, there's a time for fighting and just doing weird shit to survive. That's fighting, and you have to do that sometimes. But we're trying to develop over a long period of time. So if you've been training for 5 years and you go with a brand new white belt and you have to, you know, when you fight them, okay, something's wrong. The goal, the final goal, is to be able to go with someone really good and keep your heart rate low. Well, okay, boom. That's what you want. I understand you can't always do that when you're in a sparring match and you're newer or the person's better than you, but that's like the dream. That's what we want to get to. So when we're in development, okay, I'm not saying you have to do this in the tournament when you're in trouble, but when we're in development, if you tell yourself you're not allowed to too much force, then you're going to start doing worse. But eventually you'll start finding ways to succeed without using that much energy. And that's the right path. So if I go with him and I'm like, okay, I can't let my heart rate go above a certain level. So he pulls his arm back. And I'm like, oh, this is working. And then it's like, shit, my arm's burning out. Okay, I'm not allowed to do that anymore. Now I go again, I'm not allowed to do it. And he grabs my pants, pushes my leg down, and I'm in trouble now. Okay, but I'm like, okay, but I'm not allowed to use energy. He's passing, so I can't do what I used to do. So now he tries to do it, right? And I'm like, okay, maybe that angle's harder, right? Or maybe, oh, I go here, and this, and you start, that will drive your own innovation. Because by locking yourself out of using too much energy, you are literally forced to find better movement. And then when you find that better movement, you'll actually start succeeding without wasting a lot of energy. And then when it's time to use energy, when you really need to, when you're finishing a pass or there's a scramble, you'll have it. But if you're blowing all your energy in the beginning on every move you do, then it's non-sustainable. It's a big idea. Okay? So, now we're here. talk about one of my favorite attacks here, which is now, again, the guy's just leaving a lot of gap here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the foot on the near side hip. I'm gonna put my foot in the bicep, and we're not gonna do spider. We're gonna let go and go to the collar. It's one of my favorite attacks. It's like a death sentence when you get this. So what happens is he exposes that foot on the hip, right? I can push it back a little bit, put on the bicep, and then I release and quickly grab the collar. Now I'm gonna pull his posture down. This is basically over. It's so hard to recover this. Okay, when I pull the collar, I talk about this a lot this week. When we're breaking posture, the most important concept, I'm trying to round his spine. You ever try to do a deadlift? If you round your spine, it's really hard. You have to keep it straight. So when you pull on the collar, I'm not pulling this way, because that keeps it straight. I'm trying to pull straight downward. I want you to round the spine like that. So when I grab this collar, watch how my arm goes. I'm going to move my leg collar just so I show. I don't go here, I go there. Right? That will, once you compromise the spine, now when he tries to go back up, it's super hard. Right? This makes the attacking triangle on the bottom so easy. So what happens is he's worried about, double sleeve, leave up all this, and then he leaves an opening, either there or there. So now I can push the hip out a little bit, put on the bicep, let go and sit up, grab the collar. Boom. See, now try to posture back up. So hard. You can't even break the collar because I have the sleeve. From here, a lot of easy attacks. I can pull the arm in, I just kind of do an omoplata. Sometimes I can pull the triangle directly. But of course, that's a different guard than double sleeve. But it connects so naturally into the position. And it's like not really normal collars, it's almost finished. So that's a really powerful attack. And again, the two main patterns here are elbow knee tight or elbow open, right? So if we're here, so his guard, right? Okay, he stands up, to the stall, you start going crazy, move around a bunch. And boom, just look at my sleeves. Right here. Difficult, right? Boom, push it there. Okay, can't go there. Boom, there. Bang. I got it. Right? Starts trying to posture. Go away. Boom. That works. Okay, so it's about learning to read the positions and not use energy. And it's not about picking your favorite move and then hitting them really hard. Okay? Let's give it a try. 1 thing. All right, so we're here. So we got the foot on the hip. Then also here, sometimes, let's say I have the foot on the hip, I have the pull, and then he gets his elbow tight to his knee again, I can't quite get it. You can also do the same deal and heel hook stuff here with this, right? But that turns into bare ball, right? So if he's up there, maybe we started in double sleeve, he just opened my closed guard and make space. Don't tie all this stuff, right? I go foot on hip. Here, lower sleeve, pull. He goes elbow knee tight. Now look, I spin, I release to go for the bolo. Because when I have, if I just start with the ankle, I can push my leg down, right? No bolo. But by having the sleeve first, you go, right? You can't push, and then I release and I go. Now I'm coming through. I can start hitting bolos and stuff. Right? It's more advanced. But for you guys, to develop a really good high-level guard, it's about learning to mix guards. A lot of people early on, I think they have this idea, and it makes a lot of sense, and everyone, when they have this idea, they think it's like a really unique idea that no one's ever had. But I think it's just super common. Everyone kind of thinks, okay, jiu-jitsu is really hard, I'm gonna pick one spot, and if I master that so good, that if I'm better at it than everyone else, I'm gonna be able to just funnel them to that spot, and I'll beat them there. A lot of people have this idea, and they think like, it's like, oh, I have the best idea. Everyone has that same thought, actually. At like competition level, everyone starts thinking that. But the reality is that to me is very similar to like, say you're playing closed guard. If you go, I'm just gonna have one submission, the arm bar, and I'm gonna be so good at it that when I get the arm bar, I'm gonna kill him. Yeah, but like maybe just do this, and then you have to do a collar choke or something else. The idea that you're gonna have one submission in closed guard, you don't do anything else, is silly. You might have favorites, but you have to mix a bunch of attacks to have a full sequence to threaten multiple situations. Same thing with open guard. It's okay to have some preferences, but really to do well, you need to be able to mix collar sleeve, double sleeve, ankle parson, ankle collar, deep lasso. That's when you get a great guard, okay? So today, we're more focused on understanding what you can do with a double sleeve, but realistically, there's a lot of connections off of double sleeve to other things, right? So, here, right, so now, switch up the collar, we pull, you can see elbow tight. Now, like, I can kind of pivot and swing, pop the arm, and see how we're doing the exact same sweep again, right? Here, back, and pulls the elbow tight, pivot and swing, pop the arm, boom, same exact sweep again. All right, I'll let you guys try that one a little bit, and then we're going to look at the deep lasso of it. We'll do spider last. All right? So, all right, guys, so next detail here. Sometimes, let's say I'm here, and I want to get a little space. Remember, you can use your knee to grab it. See how I can make space with that? Sometimes, you know, I don't know how to describe it. It's just like intuition. Like, you can easily overcomplicate this. You can be like, okay, I got to put the foot here. I got to move my hip like this. It's just like, that's literally what it is. Okay? It's just like, he's close, and it's like, I have to get away. And your body's pretty good at that. So look, I just use my knee. I can use the foot and the bicep, and I can even use the fist. I'm just like, see? And look, I get away. Now look, my knee makes the space there. Now when I pivot for this heel, you don't have to do it. Right, see? See, I pivot from the knee on the knee to there. You get that nice hook, right? Some people, I feel like you're a bit like too stuck, and like maybe you were here, or you're here, and then this comes off, and then you're here, and then you're like there, and it doesn't have that like fluidity. You see, I can just kind of connect the knee, I pivot, boom, like that. Yep. All right, here we go. So now, we're gonna look at another really fun effect. So now, we're here, we got both sleeves. Actually I'm gonna show really quick this one, then we'll go to the deep lasso. Another really simple attack everyone can learn, it works at every level. It's just the sit-up guard. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna put the foot on the hip, so we're leg past body. I go right foot on hip, De La Riva hook, right? You can do this in any order really. I could have the De La Riva hook, grab the foot. I can put the foot on the hip, grab the ankle, and go here. Okay, I'm gonna push the hip out really far. Now I wanna scoot away, and I'm gonna sit up and grab the singlet. And from here I can keep the sleeve, grab a little elbow, dig it down. Okay? This is one of the most basic old school jiu-jitsu sweeps. It's one of the best. Okay? Couple key points here, right? So I get the foot on the hip, I grab the ankle. I don't even need the hook, right? I grab the ankle, I want to kick him away really far. Or slide myself away, as long as I got distance. Foot on the hip. When I sit up, I want to clamp my heel to his calf. If I'm loose, when I sit up, yeah, exactly, he steps slightly, right? When I'm tight here like this, that leg's stuck. Now when I sit up, watch. That, as I make this transition really quick, it's stuck. Now I put with my elbow behind the knee. Okay? Don't worry so much about the sleeve, the collar. I just want to create this kind of buckling on his knee. That makes it harder to move. From here, I can grab the lapel and the sleeve. I quickly get this lapel, hold this knocker down, and sweep. So again, I'm trying to teach you guys how to be effective from double sleeve. So rather than just staying within the double sleeve, I'm starting with that as the base control and saying, oh, there's an opening here. But in the beginning, if you just stall for 10 minutes, that's good enough. Then you go, oh, maybe there's a collar sleeve right here. Okay, no, go back. Maybe there's a sit-up guard right here. Okay, go back. So we'll do this one, then we'll look at the deep lasso, and then a bit of spider. All right, all right, here. All right, I get this foot on the hip. I don't push it yet. Push the ankle. Now I kick him out. If you want, if it's hard to push him out because he's kind of tight, like this, I can try to take him overhead. Usually he'll step back. And then I can. Easy way, right? Now look, plant the calf, sit up, feet like this. I want to imagine you're hanging from like a bar, like a pull-up bar with your elbow. That's how I think about it. It's like I hook on this there. See, I even open his foot out. That was really good bend on his leg. Now I can grab the lapel. This is double deep sleeve. Grab the lapel, pull his posture down, one around that neck. And just take it forward. Make sense? A lot of you guys probably seen this sweep before, but the most important thing are the small details. Clamping the calf, kicking them far enough away, using your elbow behind the knee. Big one is making sure they're far enough away. I can't stress the distance idea enough. If you're here, and he's just like right here, my leg, it's like hard to set up when you're like, if my leg is pointed this way, it's easy to set up. A lot of you guys will struggle to sit up sometimes because your leg is like this. You're like, I can't sit up. Right? So see, I try to take him overhead. He resists back. That makes it easy to kick it. Smooth, forward, lapel and sleeve. Make sense? That's right. What are they? This one and just the collar grip, and then we'll do the glasses week. I just want to mention this. So if we're here, right, and I can't push him out again, try to pull him forward. That usually makes him back up a bit. That makes it easy to push out. When we're here, we go for this. Sometimes if I can't get the sleeve, I can get the collar. Right? But again, if I ever get the posture broken, now he postures up. See, he can't fully extend the spine. That's when it's super weak. It's very easy to off balance and press it up. But I can't stress it up in general. Understanding this is like the reverse of what I taught the guys all week about the extension of the chest. If we're just here, once you round the spine, you posture back up. It's so miserable. Okay, and if you've never felt that appropriately, it's the kind of thing that you've probably trained 10, 15 years or something, and someone grabs your collar like that, it's like, uh-oh, you know there's a problem. It's like, you ever done judo and you go with someone who's like a good judoka, they just touch you and you're like, oh shit, this is bad, right? And it scares the person. Because you'll be here, and you just have a sleeve, and they're like, okay, they feel like they're fine, you grab your pant leg, boom, and then bang, and then they're like, uh-oh, and they can't get it back. They don't even know what the hell's happening. It feels like you're 20 times as strong. It's just because I understand. I'm trying to make his spine round. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to pull, I'm not trying to do, I'm trying to make his spine round. So this straight down angle there, and especially if you do it surprisingly, catches him, right? If I go slow, he'll resist it. See? But you move it and then boom, now get it back. See? And then everything falls apart. That's such a big idea. Okay? So let's look at the deep lasso. So deep lasso could be like 2 days in of itself. We're just going to do one main factor. So we're already in this double sleeve position, so we're going to switch this to a deep lasso on the far side. So I'm going to go through like this. I want to lock my hand on my own thigh. That's what makes the position tight. If I'm loose, he can loop his hand out. Right? So now the weird thing here is to make the position tighter, I want to let go of the grip of it. Because when my hand's too tight, I can't lock my hand on the thigh. So I actually open my hand like that a bit. That allows me to glue my hand here like this. See that? So I go here. So now I have like kind of like a De La Hiva with a far side lasso. I'm going to move him back by extending the De La Hiva. Now I'm going to catch the near side leg with my lasso foot in between. And I almost lock it like a half guard. The way I think about it, I just want to pull his knee to my chest. It's really easy to pull it. Okay? Over here, I'm going to move it around. Over here, different seats here. Up, boom, move it around, forward. That's there. I want to keep this like this. If he sets my leg away, now you can start trying to pull him past, it gets a little harder. So I want to catch this. See, step all the way. See, it's stuck. And just pull him in. It's already falling. Here, just try to imagine you're going to pull that knee to your chest. Here, I usually just keep the sleeves. They can respond really differently, especially if they don't know what's happening. It can be really bad. Okay? Usually here, I hold, start moving back to the top. Sometimes I can catch an old plata. I keep this down. It's hard for him to come up because I have his arm. Switch the leg. Sometimes they go the other way. They go all the way through, come up. And then come up and go up. Either way, it's not fun to come up. Okay? But that's all that happens. Yeah, a lot of people, when you do this, I used to do this too. You can. You kind of like tap the floor and drive. Yeah. And that can work, but I find you have to hit it so explosively, and then they're free to start moving. Yeah, so I found that if I just catch this guy and you start backing, it's stuck. I mean, it's just way easier for me to do that one. Really, it's just a little bit safer.
And I think you should put
Yeah, because when you go for like the middle, like this, often what happens, usually you're doing like this trying to go overhead. That this leg is the problem, getting away. So if I just have this, and you start backing away, this keeps me kind of attached. And I have a lot of off balance vector that way. Right? If I just hook the near one, like this, he can start walking that way. Now I start almost getting into like shoulder. You can save this, but it's a little bit heavy, right? So generally when I'm here like this and you start going to the shoulder, it's actually really hard. He has to get this leg back from forward. You see, he has to get that leg out, right? So this, I actually want to kind of catch back more. So I find when I just get this, now you start over, you see, it's so stable. I always get it. So I just really like that kind of more half party model. I just feel like it is so easy. You can still tap the floor, but I find I always have to. I guess you're trying to the deep lasso kind of fits in. There's a lot of variants of it, right? I could be here like this. Another common one I'll do is like, but like say I can't go underneath here. A lot of times I'll threaten going this way. The deep lasso roll of triangles and stuff. So I usually mix the deep lasso with a lot of different threats, right? But another question I saw people had was they went here, here, and somehow maybe you're a little bit slow on it. They kind of sit down for the knee, right? Like this, just put the, maybe like here, right? So sometimes I can still force it, but if it's a little bit difficult, I might back up and go shin on shin. I just flip from there. A lot of cool things you can do with it. It's a great grip.